Look at the size of that. You know, when I was growing up, I'd never had any zits, then now like in my 40s, something's going on. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fishing with Rod. It's mid-December, and normally this time of year we start thinking about winter steelhead fishing in the Fraser Valley and Vancouver Island, but in the last several years, my attention has kind of shifted towards ice fishing. Now, ice fishing is relatively foreign to British Columbian anglers, for southern British Columbian anglers anyways, because our coastal lakes don't really freeze in the wintertime, whereas the interior lakes, they freeze, and they in fact offer a lot of ice fishing opportunities, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So last week I actually headed up to Tunkwa Lake Resort, which is around 4-hour drive from Vancouver. It's a great place to take your family. We take our family up there every year in the summertime, in the wintertime, because it's relatively close. You can do an overnight trip in the area, or you can spend a whole weekend there, do some great trout fishing. Now, Tunkwa Lake, it's stocked by the Freshwater Fisheries Society BC with 40,000 fish every year. Out of those 40,000 fish, 5,000 fish are triploids, meaning that they're not diploid, so they can't spawn. These fish aren't fertile. And the other 35,000 fish are female fish, they're diploid fish, meaning that they can produce eggs. These fish are used as broodstocks for the hatchery when they do need them. Besides the 40,000 fish that go into the lake itself also have natural recruitment. So there are creeks that run into the lakes where in the springtime there are native trout spawn naturally in there. So you can imagine how many fish there are in this lake and how often you can get into them when you go out there to fish for them. That being said, springtime, summertime, the fishing is fantastic. You can get into dozens of fish quite easily because you have this nice insect hatch. You can fly fish for them, you can bait fish for them. You can see fish jumping around, and usually that's where the fish are, so you can kind of drive your boat over to the area and catch them. Now for ice fishing, I've gained a new respect for it. At the very beginning, when I first started out, I thought ice fishing would be like the easiest thing. You can just drop your line down, wait for the fish to come over and bite the bait, and then just pull out the fish. There's nothing to it, right? But in fact, ice fishing can be really tough. First of all, you don't have the environmental cue to look for where the fish are, because once you get out there, it's just ice. I mean, you don't see any fish jumping, you don't see insect catching, you don't see birds feeding on insects. So there are very few clues where that will tell you where the fish are. So I was kind of defeated the very first time when we went. I think I only caught like a tiny one, but over time we started learning how to catch them slowly. You know, I start learning that most of the fish are in fact in very shallow water, in 3 to 5 feet or 8 feet of water, and certain spots will produce better than others. Certain time of the day produce better than other times, surprisingly. So last week when we went up to Tunkwa Lake, we spent a day fishing with the resort owner Al Patton, and that was fantastic because it was such a great learning experience. The very first thing we did, and this is a new item we started using this year, was an electric auger. The Rapala Strikemaster 40V electric auger was a game changer. Normally we use a manual drill to drill our holes, and usually take several minutes to do one, which is actually quite labor intensive but quite time consuming as well. With the electric one, it took maybe 5 seconds. The next thing we did for this trip was really a learning experience. Personally, I have a Humminbird Helix 5 fish finder, and to be honest, these fish finders, the machines are so advanced now. There's so many features on it. I perhaps know maybe 10% of what it can actually do. So Al actually showed me how to adjust the settings, the dial, the settings properly, so I could actually see the fish on the sounder and see my jig, see my spoon on the sounder, see when the fish actually attack it, and so I can set the hook properly when the fish actually do commit to the bait. So for ice fishing, it's pretty tough if you don't have a fish finder. If you just kind of dropping the line down blindly and just waiting for the fish to come by, you don't know if they're actually fish in the area. You don't know when the fish are actually in the area. So you're not really prepared to set the hook when they're actually there biting your line. So you're not really fishing properly. But with a fish finder, it really is a pair of eyes down there for you, so you can in fact see everything just by looking at the graph. While we're playing around with the settings, I did see some fish on the sounder and managed to see the bites and set the hook. That was pretty cool. Now the fishing was pretty tough as usual, not because there's a lack of fish, but these fish can get pretty moody during the ice fishing season. The best time for ice fishing is in fact the first 2 hours in the morning and last 2 hours in the afternoon. Showing up by 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we got out, the fish were pretty active and becoming more and more active towards the end of the day, especially the last half an hour of the day. They start showing up on the sounder, they start biting more actively, and we could get into quite a few fish.
Oh, he's back, he can bite it, Oh, come, there's 2 there, I think. He's there, he's looking at it. Oh, he's looking at it. He's grabbed it. I see you had a bite. Oh! They're biting so light.
I know.
Just barely touched ice iron.
It's like kokanee.
Oh, there.
Oh!
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, that's
Don't worry about the camera.
Is your camera
No, don't worry about it. It's on photo mode, so.
Oh, it's on photo mode? Wow, you know how to use that.
I wait until the last minute, right?
Oh yeah! Rod's got a fish.
Oh yeah, look, you got the biggest one!
That thing was peeling.
Yes!
Now we did get quite a few small fish, but most of the fish that we did see were between 15 and 17 inches long, which is roughly around 2-year-old, about 2 years after these fish are released into the lake. Now these fish are great for eating. They're really tasty in the wintertime because the bacterial and fungal count is quite a bit lower in the wintertime. These fish don't really have that muddy taste which you can find at times in the summer and springtime. So I was happy enough to bring a couple fish home, and here they are. I'm going to be doing a simple trout recipe which take absolutely no time to make, maybe 10-15 minutes, and you can enjoy a really nice meal. So here we go, check it out. Okay, here we go. So we got the rainbow trout. Like I said, these are around 16-17 inches long. Perfect meal size for 1 to 2 people, depending on how much you eat, I guess. Yeah, so we're gonna pick one of these. Let's go with this one right here. That's a beauty fish. So the very first thing I want to do is I'm gonna make a few slices right across the body. So I'll grab my filleting knife like that. Just makes it cook a lot more easily, and do that for both sides. Now I can see these fish. I'll show you the flesh. It's very, very bright. It's bright red, and they've been feeding on shrimp, freshwater shrimp in the lake. They've been feeding on insects, leeches, just all the really yummy stuff, and that's why they're super nice looking fish. It is a put and take fishery, but these fish go into the lake as a yearling, so roughly around 10 grams big. But by 1 or 2 years, they'll be like this for 1 pound, 2 pound, and potentially they can keep growing until 3-4 pound. And so it's a natural growth in the lake, and that's why these fish look so healthy. All the fins are intact. The body is it's not a really obese kind of shape, but it's just really nice. It's a solid fish, and it's, like I said, it's great for eating, and I can't wait to try it out. Okay, so wash my hands first, but right back. Salt and pepper, very, very simple. So salt, pepper, I'm gonna do that on both sides, right? There we go. foil. And we're gonna lay the fish on top of that. In goes, we got lemon and parsley, or you can use dill. You can use onions in it as well. You can, whatever ingredients, whatever flavor you feel like. So today we're gonna do some lemon, and we're just gonna chuck it inside the abdomen, right, like that. Looks good. And we're gonna put some parsley in here as well. There you go. Just like so. Butter stick. Open this up. And we're gonna slice a few chunks. And we're gonna throw it onto the fish. Put some in the abdomen right here. And we're gonna chuck some up here as well. So once this is done, once you put your ingredients in the fish, on top of the fish, whatnot, you just gotta wrap it. So we wrap it like that, but you don't have to wrap it down too tightly. So we're gonna wrap it up like so, and kind of like make a boat. That's just to prevent all the moisture from like escaping when you're cooking this. So once this is wrapped, see, it's really nice. I got the oven heating up to 400 Fahrenheit, and this goes in there, and it can be done between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the size of the fish. I think this one should be done within, yeah, I would say like maybe 15, because this just came out from the fridge. It's so little cold, it's not room temperature, so you might need a bit more time. So we say 15 minutes in the oven. So here we go. I think that's the head. Smells pretty good. I'm pretty confident that's gonna be. It's gonna be quite tasty. Wow. It's really steamy. You see that the fish is quite moist because this is all packaged before, so it's buttery, it's steamy, and it smells really good. Here we go. Let's try it out. To be honest, I'm a big fan of halibut and lingcod. I don't usually eat trout very much, but this is actually pretty good. Yeah. And if you want, you can add more lemon on top of that as well. But this is tasty. Eh? Not bad, eh? It's beautiful. Wow, it's very light as well, even though with all the butter and stuff, it's not very heavy. So great. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't usually cook trout. This is kind of like my, yeah, I just want to try it out and show it to you guys. Definitely. So there's lots of ice fishing opportunities around in this province in the next few months, up until March. You can do ice fishing. It's readily available. Once you get out and buy your freshwater fishing license, you don't need a boat. You just need an ice fishing rod. You need a drill. You need a sled, and you can go anywhere you want. I just read the regulations, and most of the lakes you're allowed to keep 5 of these fish per day per person. So which is great. You can bring home some really healthy, tasty protein, and well out enjoying the outdoors. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be making more episodes coming up in 2020, and hope you guys have had a great year. Thank you for the support. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook page as well. If you have any questions, leave a comment on the bottom. I'm happy to answer them, and also give me some feedbacks on the fish if you try it out. So until next time, good luck fishing.
There's a fish right there. Yeah, right there. And there's another one below it. There's another fish there. Yep. He's coming up to hit it. Did he just hit you?
Nope.
There?
Not yet.
No? Oh, he's on it.
It's still there.
There, yep. He's there. He went right below it. Yep. Sometimes that's your bait fell off and he chased it back down. Nope, there's one right there. He's still there. There, he's back.
Do I just
just kind of tease it a little bit. So he went down to the bottom. Yeah. So but there he is. He's back up again. He's coming up for it. There. He's on.
I filled that one. Yeah.
There, you got him.
Oh.
Nope, he was on there.
He's slow.
He's still here though. Yeah. Watch, see if he comes back.
That hit is so different.
It's subtle, eh?
Yeah, it's really light.
There.